I'm tired of being the victim of shame.
And most importantly, you want to know who's not in the Epstein files? Our king.
That the biggest victim of all may have been Michael Jackson himself.
Michael Jackson believed that he was protecting children.
Wake the fuck up! They don't care about you! They care about you! They kidnapped, trafficked, tortured, raped, murdered, and cannibalized children.
Michael Jackson was always the superhero, and Jeffrey Epstein was always the villain. Michael Jackson was always the superhero, and Jeffrey Epstein was always the villain.
Fellow creators and influencers who continue to speak out about this, thank you.
Jeffrey Epstein did not invent a dark new crime. He stepped into a very old role. Black girls, little black girls, were openly sold as what traders called fancy girls. That was not some backroom slang. It was a market category. A regular enslaved woman in her prime, valued for labor, might sell for $1,200 to $1,600 by the 1850s.
If you're going to be a pedophile, if you're going to be Jack the Ripper, if you're going to be a murderer, it's not a good idea. That I'm not. That's how we were raised.
The names in these files indicate politicians, presidents, kings and queens, people in business, people in the entertainment industry, millionaires, billionaires. But who specifically was Michael Jackson referencing? Who was responsible for this? I'm going to let you guys know what I found, and I'm going to go into more depth with my inner circle.
You're throwing me in a class with a bad name.
Michael Jackson believed that he was protecting children. Michael Jackson was accused of many things throughout his life, but despite many years of investigation, he was never convicted of a crime. And here's what people don't understand. Michael built Neverland as a place for children, especially sick, struggling, or disadvantaged kids, to experience joy, safety, and a childhood that he himself never had. It was actually a massive property filled with activities, rides for children. Now here's where the controversy came in. People questioned his behavior. They questioned the level of security, the cameras, the alarms, and the way he chose to host these families and children. Michael himself said because of his traumatic childhood, he related more to children than adults, and that his intention with Neverland was to create a safe environment for the innocent. Some people still saw it as strange, but others saw him for the compassionate and loving human he was. And that's why he became one of the most misunderstood figures in the entire world. Because what some saw as suspicious, he saw as protection. Here's the truth, Michael wasn't just compassionate towards kids, he believed that the world was darker than what most people realized. And growing up without protection or love, he tried to create a place where innocence could be safe again. Michael isn't perfect, but maybe the bigger picture is this. Sometimes the most misunderstood people are the ones trying to protect what's innocent. Does that make sense now? And get this, right? Toward the end of his life, those who were close to Michael said that he had a deep respect for Jesus. He spoke openly about his faith in God, and he started to seek Christianity. Before he passed, it was said that he was seeking a relationship with Christ.
And most importantly, you want to know who's not in the Epstein files? Our king. Our king. Michael Jackson, the Prince of Pop, is not in the Epstein files. And while we're at it, since it's Black History Month, did you know that he was acquitted of all the PDF charges that were brought against him? You know the media never went back and cleared that up. They just tarnished his whole legacy, and he's still known as that to this day, even though they took it to court and he was acquitted of all those charges. So if there's a PDF file island and Michael Jackson was known or accused of being one of the biggest PDF files in the industry, I feel like he would have been on there. Although they didn't let any N-words on the island, it's Michael Jackson. If he was part of that whole gang, I think he would have definitely been welcomed there, but he wasn't. Our king was not on the island. Okay, long live Michael Jackson. We can enjoy his music in peace. So I know a lot of us are disheartened by the people who are in that file, but let's celebrate the people who are not. And let's start with Michael Jackson.
That the biggest victim of all may have been Michael Jackson himself. Following 5 months of investigation and interviewing 50 people associated with the case, GQ senior writer Mary A. Fisher answers the question, did Michael do it? Her response, a resounding no.
In fact, he was framed and that he himself was the victim and of a carefully conceived plan to extract money from him.
Fisher claims that Evan Chandler, whose son alleges the abuse, gathered the molestation stories from the boy during a highly irregular session while using a drug which often creates false memories.
It was only after he was given this drug in Mr. Chandler's office, dental office, that he came out with the allegations against Michael Jackson. Before that, he had said nothing wrong had ever happened.
GQ reports that Jackson's image was severely damaged by lurid tales told by the singer's former employees. Fisher states that during paid tabloid newspaper and television appearances, these people alleged sexual misconduct. While under oath, they dropped the charges.
They acknowledged that they had never seen Michael Jackson do anything wrong with anybody.
If no justice comes, if the American justice system does not ring true for the Epstein files, which it has not since the early 2000s, when everybody knew what was going on and we've had both sides, left and right, in power, some motherfuckers got to die behind this shit. Some heads have got to roll. If they are not going to give us justice, motherfuckers have to die. I'll be the one. I'll take one for the team. I'll have them come up to my door. I don't give a fuck. I said what the fuck I said. If you don't give us justice, do not be surprised when justice finds you. And don't be surprised when the streets get active if you try to come after the ones serving out justice that you neglected to serve. You, both sides, left and right. I need both sides to wake the fuck up. They don't care about you. They care about your fucking votes, which your votes don't even matter because they're handing you choices every 4 years that they pick. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you're in those Epstein files, you're complicit with hiding anything in them. May your head roll. May we bring the guillotine back, and when your head leaves your shoulders, may it miss the basket it is supposed to land in, tumble down the hill, and land in a pile of feces. And to that pile of feces that your head lands in, I do apologize that such a piece of just deplorable excrement would fall upon your feces. That's how I feel about y'all. Fuck you, come knock on my door. They kidnapped, trafficked, tortured, raped, murdered, and cannibalized children. I'll say that again. They kidnapped, trafficked, tortured, raped, murdered, and cannibalized children. Why the fuck are we going about life like everything's just fucking normal? I can't bring myself to talk to my fucking parents because I just fucking know that they're gonna somehow excuse all of this horrible bullshit. How am I supposed to focus on the mundanity of life when we have literal fucking cannibalistic pedophiles controlling every aspect of our fucking lives? Why aren't we more mad about this? And now there's fucking Gestapo agents running around rampant in the streets, kidnapping and brutalizing who the fuck they want, and killing whoever gets in their way. Because all of this is just political theater to cover up the fuckers that are eating children. Eating and raping children. And it's not just the fucking Republicans. There's some Democrats on that list too. There's like half of Hollywood on that list. And there's tons of world leaders from around the fucking globe. I will not be satisfied until all of these fuckers, all of these inhumane monsters are swinging from fucking trees. Jail is too good for them. America! It's time to wake the fuck up!
I had to stop reading the files for my own mental health. It's just so dark. How can any human being do these types of things to children? Children. And I believe every single word of every victim in those files. Every word. So many people are making this like a political thing or trying to deflect or take sides. There are no sides in this. This isn't a left-right thing. This is are you for the and torture and murder of children, or are you against it? It's that simple. There's no need to overcomplicate any of this. And just for my own mental health, I know I need to stop looking at it for just a bit at least. I, like so many of you, suffer from depression and my own shit, my own addictions. But then every time I stop or I don't look or I don't speak out about this stuff, I feel like I'm failing all of the people that went through this shit. And in a weird way, it's like I almost feel like I'm failing my mom and her memory. It's so crazy. But I'm just take a little break from it. A couple days.
And I just want to say, news media, Fox, CNN, journalists, real journalists, where are all of you? Why aren't you guys reporting on this shit? None of you will touch this shit with a 10-foot pole because you're all a bunch of fucking grifters and only worried about money, which, by the way, I'd be speaking out about this anyway. But where you at, Megyn Kelly? Talk about everything else, political and not. Just did a full sit-down interview with JD Vance. Not once did you bring up these files. Not once. To my fellow creators and influencers who continue to speak out about this, thank you. I stand with you. It's up to us.
Babies were killed and eaten. Young girls were forcefully impregnated and forced to give birth to Jeffrey's children as part of a crazy eugenics scheme. There are victims buried on Donald Trump's golf course. Trump, Bill Clinton, and Bill Gates were all involved. Elon Musk was begging to go to those parties, and I'm sure I got the chance to attend one at some point. If this is what the DOJ was willing to release, and there's millions of more files that haven't been released, just imagine what is not being told. The allegations within these files are some of the most heinous, horrendous things a human being could possibly do. And they are committed by the most powerful and protected people within our society. And I could not give less of a fuck who did or did not do what. They were all in on it. They all knew about it. They were complicit, regardless of who fucking did what. And they're protected. They're protected. There's a sickness, a vile sickness in our country and our democracy, and there needs to be change and accountability.
Jeffrey Epstein did not invent a dark new crime. He stepped into a very old role. Enslaved black girls, little black girls, were openly sold as what traders called fancy girls. That was not some backroom slang. It was a market category. A regular enslaved woman in her prime, valued for labor, might sell for $1,200 to $1,600 by the 1850s. A fancy girl could sell for 2, 3, even 4 times that. Some documented sales reached $6,000 or $7,000. That was the price of a house in those days. The law made it possible. Enslaved girls could not refuse. White men faced no consequences. Courts enforced the contracts. Banks financed the purchases. The entire system treated sexual exploitation as a luxury good for wealthy men. That's how Epstein made his money, too. After slavery ended, officially, the paperwork changed. The pattern did not. Ownership became arrangements. Coercion became opportunity. Silence became discretion. Fast forward to the late 20th century. Jeffrey Epstein did not create a network of powerful abusers. He just built additional infrastructure. He sourced vulnerable girls. He moved them. He insulated the men who wanted access to them. He functioned like a broker on an old market that never fully disappeared. Everyone knows just enough. No one important asks questions. Institutions protect reputations, not children. Epstein was a modern version of a system that has always existed wherever wealth, gender, age, and impunity collide. Anytime powerful men expect access without consequences, someone will always be there to build the supply chain. Epstein already had the interest. He already had access to rich men. He had a creepy charm about him that those rich men recognized. that it's just part of the system of America. It's American history. And it continues down that same dark path. And it's time for people to start talking about it. Get curious.
Michael Jackson was always the superhero, and Jeffrey Epstein was always the villain. Michael Jackson was always the superhero, and Jeffrey Epstein was always the villain. The last quarter of Michael Jackson's life, when he tried to set himself up for retirement from the industry, he tried to buy the Beatles catalog, buy MTV, and also put himself in a position where he wouldn't have to worry about him and his family for the rest of his life and generations to come. Why, as soon as Michael Jackson passed, did his estate and his mom get rid of the main things that Michael Jackson treasured that he would never sell, like the Beatles catalog? But one thing that he was trying to do outside of these things was the one thing that would create a downfall to try to make him look like the bad guy, and that's protect children. Now, you say to yourself, protect children, but Michael Jackson was presumed to be touching kids. Now, what I ask you is, when Macaulay Culkin and Corey were saying that Michael Jackson would never touch kids, and they were kids at that time, why didn't we believe them? Now that the Epstein files came out and we seen a picture of Michael Jackson around that group of people, we presume that, okay, Michael was always into this. What if the entire time Neverland was meant to make sure that kids could be kids for as long as possible and make sure that they never have to go through the things that these kids like Nickelodeon and other networks went through that we're talking about now on Documents? Well, that's the story that's coming out now. Apparently, Michael Jackson's whole entire goal was to go against the people in the industry that were trying to groom kids. And now that the truth is coming out, we are hearing that Michael Jackson was actually fighting against this. What if we find out, like we're hearing in the news, because this is all alleged, once again.
This is all alleged.
That Michael Jackson was actually trying to protect the children coming up in the industry like he did. What if the parents of the kids that Michael Jackson was helping out were approached by the other side, Epstein and the rest of the people who went on the island, and told to lie on Michael to make sure that he would have all these court cases to stop him from gaining more and more popularity and more space in the industry by buying these bigger brands and companies? This is all alleged, but
alleged is starting to sound like the real truth these days.
But hey, what do I know? I'm just the messenger.
You guys remember that Michael Jackson phone call where he's warning the person on the phone that they are getting ready to take his life and make it look like he overdosed on drugs? Thanks to the Epstein files, we know who the they really is.
I don't know if I should tell you this, but I don't know who may be listening. There may be a group of people that want to get rid of me. You don't want me here anymore.
I don't understand. What do you mean? Talk to me.
Talk about it. Over the phone. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just feel in my soul, only God knows, it could shoot me. It could stab me. It could free me and say I overdosed on drugs. They can do a lot of things.
Who could do these things?
It's not the government. It's more than the government. But I don't know how to do it. I don't care. They can kill me. I don't even care about my life anymore. I just want my children to be okay. My only choice.
Michael.
He said they are more than just the government. It's bigger than that. The Epstein files have proven that the Illuminati is not just some conspiracy fairy tale. It's real. And he has all of the bloodlines categorized in his files, labeled Illuminati families. Now, when Michael Jackson says it's bigger than just the government, it's because it is. The names in these files indicate politicians, presidents, kings and queens, people in business, people in the entertainment industry, millionaires, billionaires. But who specifically was Michael Jackson referencing? Who was responsible for this? I'm going to let you guys know what I found, and I'm going to go into more depth with my inner circle. If you want to join the conversation, head over to my Patreon, subscribe, and I will see you there. God bless, and may he continue to reveal the truth.
Epstein files. You Africans, these white people, they eat children and even sodomize toddlers. If you are not bothered by the Epstein files, you better start following, because tomorrow, these same Europeans and Americans you see walking about in Africa, they could be looking for children to eat and toddlers to have sex with. Yet because you didn't follow the scandal, you Africans will be treating the savages like a god and giving the monster everything they ask. When in reality you are dealing with a cannibal whom you think is as innocent as Jesus Christ. When in reality it is a white savage smiling to you. Look at just some of the people mentioned in the Epstein files. There were satanic cannibal rituals of eating children on Epstein Island and in whatever other secret residences they have around the world as we speak. So even if you don't have enough data to follow the Epstein scandal on the internet, just remember this one thing whenever you see any white person in your city or in your village. There are white cannibals who eat babies, and they are roaming the world as tourists and holy.
So they're saying Neverland is where Michael Jackson took children to protect them from what was being done on Epstein's Island. And because he was going against their regime, they punished him and they flipped the script and made it appear as if he was the one abusing them, when in reality they were abusing them, and he was protecting the children, he was protecting the celebrities. And you have celebrities like Macaulay Culkin who've gone on record to protect and defend Michael Jackson. This all makes sense. It has finally come together. This man has been dead for so long, but now it's coming together. That's what the little birdie told me in the little research I did. I am appalled. Not only did he protect the children from the physical things that were being done to them, and you know what I'm saying, you just social media, gotta be careful, but he also were protecting them from the social and emotional abuses that were occurring by advising Britney Spears to get out from under her dad before the conservatorship and things of that nature. This man was a lifesaver. Nonetheless, those of you who are like me, help me fact check this, because at the end of the day, I want to make sure this is right, but this is what I've been hearing up to this point, and it all makes sense.
Then he wrote, "They don't care about us." They don't care about us. They who? See, he's sending his people messages out of his pain. They don't care. And some of you are dumb enough to think because we have a black president that they now care.
I really did need a glass of water. This is not a stunt.
Skinhead, deadhead. Everybody gone mad. Situation, aggravation. Everybody allegation. In the suite, on the news. Everybody dog food. Bang, bang, shot dead. Everybody's gone mad. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. Beat me, hate me, you can never break me, will me, thrill me, you can never kill me, sue me, everybody do me, kick me, don't you black or white me. That's what Michael was talking about.
¡Comieron humanos! ¡Asquerosidad! ¡Comieron humanos! Yo no estaba enterada de nada. Que había, o sea, los asesinatos sí,
know everybody talk about this Epstein shit, but some of you niggas got Epstein and Einsteins in your fucking family. Get rid of them motherfuckers first, then you can worry about this shit. Some of y'all got nasty ass uncles. Even some of your parents did shit as you was a child. Now that shit was wrong right there. So don't worry about some shit that they hiding files and shit. We'll get to that. Nigga, clean out the shit that's around you. You know? Cause there's other Epsteins walking around this motherfucker. Y'all don't know this motherfucker. Worry about the shit that's in your community first, and then we'll get down to the bottom of that shit.
I'm tired of being the victim of shame. You're throwing me in a class with a bad name.
I just watched an interview Trump did about this whole Epstein thing, and he said, I quote, "I think it's time for the country to move on to something else." No, bro. No. We brought you in to clean house. We brought you in to bring the noose back. We brought you in to clean the swamp, enter whatever fucking funny saying you want to say. We brought you in to handle shit. No, we're not moving on. We've moved on from fucking everything else. We're not moving on from this shit. Because it's black and fucking white at this point in time. That some people need to fucking hang. So one of two things is going to happen. You're either complicit with everybody and you wanted to move on because you got some big fucking problems ahead of you, or you're going to do the job that we brought you in to do, which is hang some people. You and Dana can do it in the front yard of the White House before or after the UFC event. We don't much give a fuck. However, if you don't start putting some people in nooses soon, and I mean like soon, shit's gonna pop off in this country, cuz. Shit is gonna pop off in this country. Because there are a lot of people like me that just don't give a fuck anymore. You're taxing us to death. Fucking, we're done. You understand that? There's a lot of people like me that love life. We love living. We love being alive. We love our children. We love our family. But at the end of the day, the route that we're going, we're already slaves. You think we want to let our kids be even more indentured servants to you motherfuckers in DC? And you can call me crazy, you can call me whatever the fuck you want, but I know goddamn well that there are millions upon millions upon millions that think exactly what I'm saying right now. They have no fucking problem going out in a blaze of glory to ensure the next generation isn't fucked the same way that we're fucked by some of you scumbags. I brought you in, Trump, to do a fucking job. You better fucking start doing it.
And reading the Bible, learning about God, Jesus, love. Jesus said, bring on the children, imitate children, be like little children, and to take care of others, take care of old people. When I see children, I see the face of God. That's why I love them so much. That's what I see. I love to do things for children, and I try to imitate Jesus, and I'm not saying I am Jesus. I'm not saying we're clear on that. Right. I'm trying to imitate Jesus in the fact that he said to be like children, to love children, to be as pure as children, and to make yourself as innocent and see the world through eyes of wonderment and the whole magical quality of it all, and I love that. And we were raised with those values. Those are very important values, and my family and I, we were raised with those values, and they continue strong in us today. If I can open my gates, and those gates open, and that bliss, an explosion of screaming and laughter from the children, and they run past the bridge, they run on the rides, I say, thank you, God. I feel I won God's smile of approval, because I'm doing something that brings joy and happiness to other people. If you're going to be a pedophile, if you're going to be Jack the Ripper, if you're going to be a murderer, it's not a good idea. That I'm not. That's how we were raised. And I didn't sleep in the bed with the child. Even if I did, it's okay. I slept on the floor. I gave the bed to the child. I didn't say I slept in the bed. Even if I did sleep in the bed, it's okay. I am not going to do anything sexual to a child. It's not where my heart is. I would slit my wrist first. I would never do anything like that. That's not Michael Jackson, I'm sorry. That's someone else. It's people with a dirty mind that think like that. I don't think that way. That's not me.
Are you a pedophile?
Press is so hard on me here, and I try to do so good. I go to the hospital, I give presents to the children. As soon as I leave, the next day they go wacko jacko, left the hospital.
wasn't for children, I would throw in the towel. I would kill myself. I wouldn't care to live. They give me my inspiration. They inspire me. Everything I do, every song I write, the dance, everything that I do. They tried to use it against me. It's so unfair, and I'm very upset about it, you know.
So they're saying Neverland is where Michael Jackson took children to protect them. While Epstein and were doing all these perverted things to these children, eating their bone marrow, all these disgusting things to babies, Michael Jackson had created a place where children could be safe. I don't want to start crying. And we all know that they drugged that man through the mud. The media, everyone drove that man through the mud and ultimately unalived him. And it's more than owing him an apology. Y'all motherfuckers, at the end of the day, y'all ruined that man when he was here, and y'all are still trying to ruin his name now that he's gone. They're saying that he built Neverland Ranch as a way for those kids to escape, for a way for them to be safe, because Michael had grew up in the industry as all of this was fucking happening. And because he was going against their regime, they punished him and flipped the script and made it seem as if he was the one harming children when he was protecting them. And we even have celebrities like Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay has said that they have tried to frame Michael and try to get him, try to pay him everything, and he had never done anything to him. And that statement has remained true since the beginning. He has claimed that Michael has never, ever, ever touched him. Everything was super appropriate. Everything was pure. But they're the ones, the media, all these motherfuckers are the ones who work fouls. But he was also protecting people like Britney Spears, trying to get her to get from underneath the conservatorship. He was talking about that before everybody else was saying save Britney. Before, when Britney could actually have been saved, when she was still mentally there. Michael was a lifesaver. He was an earth angel. And now that he's gone, I'm finally happy that all of this stuff is coming to the light, and that his legacy still lives on and will forever live on, because he will always be that nigga.
I ask all of you to wait and hear the truth before you label or condemn me. Don't treat me like a criminal, because I am innocent. It was a nightmare, a horrifying nightmare. But if this is what I have to endure to prove my innocence, my complete innocence, so be it. Throughout my life, I have only tried to help thousands upon thousands of children to live happy lives. It brings tears to my eyes when I see any child who suffers. I am not guilty of these allegations, but if I am guilty of anything, it is of giving all that I have to give to help children all over the world. It is of loving children of all ages and races. It is of gaining sheer joy from seeing children with their innocent and smiling faces. It is of enjoying through them the childhood that I missed myself.
So they're saying Neverland is where Michael Jackson took children to protect them from what was being done on Epstein's Island. And because he was going against their regime, they punished him and they flipped the script and made it appear as if he was the one abusing them, when in reality they were abusing them, and he was protecting the children, he was protecting the celebrities. And you have celebrities like Macaulay Culkin who have gone on record to protect and defend Michael Jackson. This all makes sense. It has finally come together. This man has been dead for so long, but now it's coming together. That's what the little birdie told me in the little research I did. I am appalled. Not only did he protect the children from the physical things that were being done to them, and you know what I'm saying, you just social media, gotta be careful, but he also were protecting them from the social and emotional abuses that were occurring by advising Britney Spears to get out from under her dad before the conservatorship and things of that nature. This man was a lifesaver. Nonetheless, those of you who are like me, help me fact check this, because at the end of the day, I want to make sure this is right, but this is what I've been hearing up to this point, and it all makes sense.
Middle Passage, white people. Slavery, white people. Jim Crow, white people. Lynchings, white people. Trail of Tears, white people. Wounded Knee, white people. Asian internment camps, white people. The vast majority of gun violence, white people. You see a trend? January 6th, white people. Ahmaud Arbery, 3 white guys. George Floyd, white guys. The felon in the White House, a white man. You see a trend? But somehow, the white man has convinced stupid, uneducated, trailer park trash, 3-teeth inbreds, white supremacists, Triple K members, that the brown people picking your almonds and your walnuts and your lettuce and your avocados, somehow they're the fucking problem. They're not. We are. And until we grasp that, we can blame and sit here with all of these left bro podcasters and the Pod Save America and the Midas Touches and talk about, oh, it's the cost of eggs. It's the cost of gas. Fuck it is. No, it's not. Why haven't we had a woman president? Why did we go from a black president to the most corrupt white man in the history of our country? Why did the majority of white people, the only demographic that didn't vote for Harris, and that same demographic didn't vote for Zohran Mamdani? Because we're the problem. Because there is a chunk of this country that is afraid that the white majority is going away. And they're going to kick and scream like little children, like Santa Claus taking away your present, because they think that their traditional family values is going away. And this country and the Republican Party has done a good job of indoctrinating a bunch of white men. And just me saying this, leave this country, lib, that's indoctrination. It's a fact. Every sentence, this is how it goes. Once upon a time, freedom, God, Jesus, freedom, freedom, Second Amendment. I went on vacation to Hawaii, freedom, Second Amendment, freedom, freedom, Bedbold Eagles, freedom, the greatest in the world. This is how their brains are working because they don't have critical thinking. They've been indoctrinated. And for them to be woke, which means actually seeing this country for what it is, it's breaking their brains because they've been lied to their entire life, and their version of American exceptionalism is bullshit. And they know it is, and they don't want it to be because they want their whiteness to keep them at the top of the food chain. Have yourself a white day.
Yeah, so I had to make this video. We need to stop